You might want to duck behind the sofa for this one. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Doctor Who villains. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the scariest, most ruthless, and downright dangerous villains from the entire Doctor Who franchise.
You will not be harmed. You will be upgraded.
Number 10, Ortons. There is a reason these frightening mannequins were the villains chosen to lead the revival series, and their 2005 episode remains one of the best. But these classic monsters first showed up during the third Doctor's run and were even freakier in the 70s. Foot soldiers for the fiendish Nestine consciousness, capable of controlling all things plastic, activating them conjured a fully fledged army out of a planet's own resources. If they didn't sound scary enough yet, they also have deadly laser guns built into their hands, and their body parts can move when they're not attached to them, which the Doctor learnt the hard way.
I didn't even know your name. Doctor, what was it?
Number 9, The Silence. Taking more than a few cues from what was, at the time, the internet's most widespread creepypasta, bringing an army of Slenderman clones to the small screen was more than some kids could handle. Indeed, The Silence were deemed by many to be too scary for Doctor Who's family audience, towering over their victims and making them forget they were ever there. The TARDIS crew find themselves adorned with sinister tallies counting how many of the Silence they've seen but can't remember.
I see you. I see you.
Every episode they appeared in was certainly a frightening watch, made worse by the fact we didn't find out what they were until the 11th Doctor's regeneration.
And so those ancient enemies, the Doctor and the Silence, stood back to back on the fields of Trenzalore.
Number 8, Zygons. Surprisingly, these iconic monsters were only in one classic Who serial, the third Doctor's Terror of the Zygons.
Do you think Harry's still in danger from something?
Bright red and covered in barnacles, it's a good thing their main ability is the power to shapeshift, though this is also what makes them so formidable. Always a favourite of David Tennant's, they returned for the 50th anniversary special in 2013, with the Doctor suspecting that Queen Elizabeth I was a Zygon in disguise.
It was the horse. I'm gonna be king.
Later on, their nefarious leader, Bonnie, took the form of Clara Oswald, as they insidiously tried to take over the Earth, with a population of 20 million hiding there.
20 million Zygons against 7 billion humans. That's not a war you can win!
Then we will die in the fire.
Number 7, The Beast. What other reason could there be for the doomed planet of Croptor to endlessly orbit a black hole, other than a devil living in its core? A monstrous, fire-breathing humanoid supposedly from before the universe began, this entity claimed to be the very inspiration for Satan and demonic imagery, leading to the Doctor having an existential crisis for much of the story's climax. More sinister was the way the telepathic mind of the Beast controlled the vulnerable people above, including Toby the creepy archaeologist and the otherwise benign Ood in their first appearance.
The legion shall be many, and the legion shall be few.
He was defeated after Rose managed to throw him into the black hole itself. Number 6, The Great Intelligence.
The Great Swarm is approaching. As humanity celebrates, so shall it end.
This famous monster's early appearances may have been lost to the BBC archives, but he's made numerous later appearances during Matt Smith's tenure in the TARDIS. A strange disembodied consciousness living in the void. Even the Doctor wasn't sure what the Great Intelligence actually was, only that it was evil and out to get him.
I have feasted on many minds, I have grown. But now, it is time for you to reduce.
After trying to take over Victorian London with an army of snowmen and then trying to suck people into the Wi-Fi, his last attempt to end the Doctor was much more ambitious, travelling into the Doctor's time stream in order to kill him thousands of times across his history.
You thwarted me at every turn. Now, you will give me peace as I take my revenge.
Number 5. The Family of Blood.
It's empty.
These gaseous green aliens chase the Doctor and Martha Jones across half the TARDIS in an attempt to steal his Time Lord immortality.
Why can't I see you?
Why would you want to see us?
Existing like mayflies, they were only capable of living for a few weeks, hence their desperation. The Doctor was so scared of them, he was forced to painfully turn himself human and live in 1912 for a short spell of time.
You took human form.
Of course I'm human. I was born human, as were you, Baines.
The family were made even creepier by the people they took over, especially the eerie son of mine and daughter of mine and their army of scarecrows. Ultimately, the Doctor had to resort to extreme measures to finally defeat them, trapping them away for all eternity.
As for me, I was suspended in time, and the Doctor put me to work standing over the fields of England.
Number 4. Cybermen.
What are they?
Cybermen.
There are 2 different strains of Cybermen out there. In the Doctor's universe, they originate from Earth's long-lost twin planet Mondus, which drifted too far away from the sun and froze over. In order to survive the harsh temperatures, the residents turned themselves into Cybermen. In New Who, they generally come from Pete's World, a parallel universe created by John Lumick, as a route towards immortality. Their obsession with upgrading all living things to fit their robotic worldview has put them up against the Doctor numerous times as one of their most enduring foes.
The original, you might say. Oh!
Number 3. Weeping Angels. Hailed as one of the revival series' best creations, the Weeping Angels made their debut in the spine-chilling Series 3 episode Blink, itself often claimed to be one of the show's best ever stories.
You're not looking at the statue.
Neither are you.
Keep looking at it.
The frightening statues that only move when they're not being observed made for some tense moments and a handful of jump scares, feeding on the temporal energy left behind after zapping their victims into the past.
Doctor!
The closing reveal that every statue in the world could secretly be a weeping angel added a new layer of horror to these fan favorites, even if their later appearances did get increasingly ridiculous.
I always wanted to visit the Statue of Liberty. I guess she got impatient.
Number 2. The Master. The Doctor's arch nemesis, longtime rival and frenemy, the Master has had numerous incarnations as the evilest Time Lord in the universe. And despite dying on screen numerous times with seemingly no hope for return, they always come back. Roger DeGaldo was the first and often cited as the best, but New Who versions have also put their own spin on the iconic role.
Doctor, what do we do?
Run, Doctor! Run for your life!
John Sims' Master showed up as the 10th Doctor's ultimate foe on more than one occasion, while Michelle Gomez became the first female Master, nicknamed Missy, who had a love-hate relationship with 12 until meeting a grisly demise at the hands of her previous self.
I will never stand with the Doctor!
Yes, my dear, you will.
Before we unveil our top pick, here's some honourable mentions.
And you're wearing eye drives based on mine, I think.
What do you mean?
Help her! Help her!
Hey, who turned out the lights? Who turned out the lights?
Why did you make that disagreeable noise?
Who killed him?
Number 1, Daleks. You can't have the Doctor without the Daleks, and you can't have the Daleks without their creator Davros.
This is my ultimate victory, Doctor. The destruction of reality itself!
Contrary to popular belief though, the Daleks didn't appear until the second ever serial, aptly named The Daleks. Since then, they've had a few showdowns with every Doctor, and remain just as weird but deadly as always. Their creator didn't appear until much later, not until the 4th Doctor's lauded serial, Genesis of the Daleks, where their origins as radioactive mutants were fully explained.
You are insane, Davros!
They were also the most recent villain to feature on the show, meeting the 13th Doctor for the 2019 New Year special.
Don't shoot!
Exterminate!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.